Hello, this is Martha with Living the One Light. So this video today, what I feel called to speak to is some aspects of the full moon in Aries that is happening this week on Wednesday, 27 degrees of Aries. And in particular, when I'm dropping into this full moon, what I'm noticing that a lot of people are noticing is that this full moon is very powerful for a lot of reasons. There are a lot of really intense, potentially intense energies. And so I will run down what those are, but what I'm feeling called to speak to in that is a positive, constructive way maybe to reframe some of these energies. So the energies themselves are, of course, this full moon in Aries, which is going to be at 27 degrees of Aries, and Eris, which is at 24 degrees of Aries, so very close to the full moon itself. And then those are going to be opposite the sun and Mars, and they're in the sun and Mars are in Libra, opposite the full moon and Eris in Aries, and Mars rules Aries, which is the sign of the full moon and Eris. And then squaring all of those is Pluto, which is currently at 24 degrees of Capricorn. And Pluto and Eris just had their 5th of 5 exact squares just a few days ago. So this Pluto Eris square energy has been very powerful and very strong all through 2020 and 2021. And to me, it's a big part of what is underlying a lot of what is going on the planet, and also what's going on for a lot of us personally. The Eris is sitting right on my south node of the moon, and therefore Pluto is squaring my nodes, my moon's nodes. So I personally certainly feel these energies very strongly on a lot of different levels. So when I drop into these energies, we've got Mars, the sun, a full moon in Aries, Eris, and Pluto. The big word in all of that comes up for me is power, right? And so when a lot of people are looking at the energies of this full moon, and just the transits around this time and leading up, the next few months even, there's a lot of attention being given to the fact that these energies absolutely can speak to potential volatility and strife and even violence. And that's one way that these energies absolutely could manifest. Okay, so I'm not denying any of that. But when I drop into, what is mine to do, or like, how am I being called to speak to these energies or be with these energies? What I get told essentially is I hear the word power, and then I get the message of, okay, so what is power? What is real power? And how do each of these planets, in particular Mars, Pluto, and Eris, and then the sign of Aries, how do those each speak to this notion of power? And what does it mean? Like, what's going on the planet right now that clearly power has always been a dynamic on this planet that has been, I guess you could say, problematic, an issue, out of balance in various ways. That's not a new thing. But I think one of the things that I think we're all being called into is to look at how are we manifesting power. Pluto going through Capricorn this whole, set of years is unearthing a huge aspect of how the structures of power have been constructed on this planet. And we're seeing very clearly that a lot of those structures are not working, have not been working, are not okay. And so Pluto is, in a sense, unearthing and destroying a lot of those structures. And in some ways that's great, and in some ways that's hard. And even the hard is maybe could be argued as great. I mean, well, theoretically it's all in service of our evolution. But so then we have Eris, who the Eris is actually a dwarf planet outside of the orbit of Pluto. And Pluto is considered the outermost planet. I would argue, well, maybe Eris could be considered just as, deeply important as Pluto. But I don't know, I'm going to feel into that more to get my personal feeling on that. However, I do think that this Eris Pluto square is like this deep bass note that's getting played right now throughout the cosmos, throughout existence. And what that Eris Pluto square is, the feeling of it for me and for a lot of us is the sense of, in a sense, just the meeting of these two energies saying, we can't do this anymore. This is not okay. This is not all right. And Eris is a goddess, and she's one of the forces of, quote unquote, the dark feminine. And she is the embodiment of an energy in all of us, any of us, regardless of how we identify in terms of gender, that says, absolutely not, no way, I'm speaking up, I'm not going to be quiet. There's injustice that needs to be named, and I'm going to be fully clear and present and embodied and name that. And the Eris in my chart is very strong. So I know that energy very well. I played it out a lot as a social worker and, mini little feminist in college. But anyway, so she brings a lot of her own kind of power and depth that's very, very strong right now in the collective. Okay, so let me back up. So I keep getting told this word power, right? And there's this sense that in our collective, in our history, power clearly mainly has been used in a very destructive, very out of balance kind of way. And that power has also, in the patriarchal history of this planet, mainly shown up associated with the power of the masculine, the power of the dominant masculine, the colonialist masculine, an unbalanced version of the masculine. And so my sense of Pluto moving through Capricorn is, it's a big unearthing, and then meeting in this square with Eris is a strong, deep set of energies saying, this way we've been doing power, especially with regard to patriarchy, not cool. not okay. We can't keep going like this. We're done. And and so now Mars is coming in to oppose. Mars is opposing Eris and squaring Pluto. So it's Mars, moves much, much faster than Eris or Pluto, certainly. But as it comes into this opposition with Eris and this square with Pluto, it's activating that dynamic between Pluto and Eris and this like deep, deep unearthing that's going on. So it's like Mars is coming along and saying, beep, beep, hello. Here's a little infusion of extra energy. And then we've got this full moon in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, sitting with Eris, like the full moon saying like, here's a culmination of this energy that's been going on. And especially highlighting our emotional state around it. And then also often associated with people, with mother, with nurturing, with children, with many things. But it's really, to me, like a highlighting of the Aries Mars energy, whatever that means for us in that moment, and bringing things to a head, like highlighting the full moon, shining the light of the sun and shining, it's like shining this, like a movie for all of us to see, like here, it's in your face. This is the height of what this light will become in this moment. And we've got Eris sitting right there, like in the film of this movie. And she's saying, hello, hi. So, okay. So bringing it all back to this word power. What I essentially am getting told, and the feeling I'm getting is, as we all know, power, it's like, what is it? Like Star Wars. It's like, power is the force. It's, it's not good or bad. It can be used in all kinds of ways. So when I drop into what's the intention here? Like what all these transits are, theoretically, they have a side to them that is really, it's our souls trying to help ourselves come into whatever evolutionary moment we are meant to be in this exact moment, in ourselves and in the collective, right? So there's a helping, healing intention behind this in every moment. I really feel that. I really do. I mean, it's hard to like conceive of a lot of the time, given the horrific things going on the planet all the time. But when I drop into my real actual truth and in my connection with the divine, I really do come back to that feeling. And so if I'm coming from that assumption and I drop into that place, what is mine to do? What is mine to convey? What is ours potentially to do in this moment with these set of really intense, powerful energies regarding power? Well, the message I get is, okay, ultimate power, real power is about being fully, one aspect of it, being fully present, fully embodied, fully here. And then when we're fully dropped in, fully present as the being of the divine and a being of the earth that we are, that's literally what we are. We're fully here. We fully show up. We take up all of the space of our bodies and our beings, and we let go of everything and anything that's not us. That's not the light. That's us. We fully show up as like that complete Eris being that we are. And we fully show up as the positive aspect of the masculine that we are, the masculine power that we are, the feminine power that we are. Fully show up as all of who we truly are, as the light earth being that we are. That's real power. That's real power. And then when we fully show up in that light earth being that we are, then we know what to do. Sometimes being that full power that we are means being quiet. It means, noticing, oh, all right, so-and-so just yelled at me and it's clearly having a bad day. And okay. We'll just let them go on with their life. And sometimes when we're fully, deeply, completely present in the light and the earth being that we are, sometimes that power of that, the presence, the power in our presence means doing something or saying something or really, standing up for whatever it is. And sometimes it's a combination of both, but it's that being fully present that is so needed. And it's like coming into the Goldilocks, not too big, not too little, like just being the being that we are, not shying away, not hiding. Like the dark feminine has been taught to really hide, to go underground. Black moon Lilith, or Lilith, like the archetype of Lilith is a really good example of that powerful feminine being shunned and being ostracized. And on actually Eris too is a very good example of she's the goddess who was not invited to the party. And so there's a historical fear of our powerful feminine energy that is incredibly powerful. I mean, the powerful feminine is so powerful. Have you ever been with a woman giving birth? Have you ever been with a woman defending her babies? Have you ever been with a mother animal of any kind defending her babies? Pretty darn freaking powerful. And also I would say, I have less experience with this personally, but the masculine also, the power is often, I hear this from people who more identify as the masculine, that they also feel like they need to keep their power hidden. So there's this, this balance between not hiding this power, like coming fully into our bodies, fully embodying ourselves with the power, and then of course not overstepping bounds, like not violating other people's space. I mean, that goes without saying, but I think more of us, I mean, all of us, I'm sure, have had times where we have overstepped bounds and, yelled at somebody, called somebody to name, even been physically violent or whatever toward somebody or something. That is a true thing probably for everybody in some sense. But I think as a culture, we have also just been really taught to hide a lot of our power. So, and just as I feel called, just before I end this video, just to give one example of this Eris, a really beautiful, amazing story that really makes me almost cry, that I was just learning about last night. And anyway, it's a subject I've been learning about a lot over the last couple of years. But it's I'll give this one example. I'm sure we all have many examples of this, but of the positive aspect of, that Eris energy, or the power of many archetypes of energy. So I've been learning a lot about, well, my family is from Scotland, and I've been learning a lot about the ways in which many Scottish people in the late 1800s were forced to leave their ancestral lands, and were, often the English, I don't want to generalize that it was always English, it may have also been Scottish landowners, would come onto, in particular, these western islands of the Scottish Isles, and force the entire population of the island to get on ships and go to Canada or something along those lines. And so these people were displaced in these really horrific ways, and forced to leave the land that their families had been on for hundreds or thousands of years. These tiny little islands, that are incredibly magical. My family's from one of them. And the connection that people had with the land is and was, something that just really can't be described. So they were forced to leave their homeland. And anyway, yesterday I was watching a documentary about one of these islands near where my family is from. And just recently, this whole group of islanders got together and pooled their money and bought the island from a landowner who, a very wealthy person who owned the whole island, and had the right, therefore, to decide who could live there, who wouldn't, how the island would be used in terms of resources and all those types of things. And this person didn't even live there, wasn't from there. And these islanders who had been there for hundreds of years, their families had been there, didn't have ownership over their own island. So they got together and they bought their land from this unknown sort of landowner. So it was like the power of the people, the power of just being fully present in who they were, they didn't throw bombs, they didn't fight, they didn't yell, they didn't argue, they just got together, they were very present, they didn't shy away from their power and their needs and this injustice that was going on. And they did it. They stood up, and now they have the right to be on their own land, to use their own land the way that they know is best, considering they've been there for, countless years. And to me, that is such a good example of this Eris energy saying, nope, nope, we're taking back our land, like literally. Yeah, and they're doing it in this egalitarian way. That's so beautiful. So anyway, that is what I feel called to speak to in terms of this full moon. in Aries. And yeah, I would love to hear any of your thoughts, reactions. I am coming to the end of writing this 2022 journal. I'm so excited. I'm almost done with it. And I'm going to be putting that out really soon. I'll have it available for pre-order. I'm hoping in the next, well, in early November. And then I'm thinking it'll be coming out like mid-November probably. But yeah, it's very long. Strangely long. It's very thorough. The Virgo in me says, but I forgot I didn't do this and this and this and this. Well, anyway, it goes through the whole year, day by day, and it also has the beginning section is there's it goes through every one of the planets and then every one of the main goddess asteroids and Eris and Black Moon Lilith and Chiron, and helps you to map where each of those planets and other planetary bodies will be throughout the year compared to your natal chart. So I'm trying to make it user-friendly for beginners, and then also, really fun for experienced astrology people. Also, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really fun. Yeah, so I will share more about that. But if you are curious or interested, certainly get in touch with me and get on my email list. And I will be sending out more information soon as that is available. So if you're not already on my email list, please join it at livingtheonelight.com. Once again, livingtheonelight.com. Yeah, and I'm working on other things too, but I'll share more soon. So many ideas, so much fun. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon.